Chapter 444. What a jerk. You don't need a reason to do such a strong move. I'll bear it silently. Yu Qianqiu closed his eyes in satisfaction. He stretched his legs out and said nothing. He was ready not to resist and let the beauty do whatever she wanted. If you don't say it, I won't be polite anymore. Zi tightened her grip on his neck and issued an ultimatum. Scoundrel. Yu Qianqiu opened his eyes and muttered with great effort. Zi didn't hear it clearly. She thought she might have tightened her grip, so she loosened her grip and asked, "What pill?" "You pervert, if you don't let me go, I'll scream." Yu Qianqiu warned her clearly. Ziyi's pretty face turned frosty, and she immediately pressed down on Yu Qianqiu. She exerted force and snorted coldly, "You actually dare to scold me? We are not outside. I have to give senior by face and help you. I misjudged. Nongzhu's eyes were wide open and he was sweating. He didn't expect his daughter to be so strong. He immediately shouted to Zi, "What are you doing? Get down, down." Zi looked up and saw her master staring at her from the roof in the middle of the island. It seemed to be the first time her master scolded her in such a loud voice. She stuck out her tongue and quickly slid down to sit next to Yu Qianqiu. However, she still kicked the swindlers but unwillingly. Yu Qianqiu was in pain. He covered his mouth and sat up. He was afraid of disturbing his master, so he didn't dare to cry out loud. However, it didn't stop him from staring at Zi with extreme hatred. Nongzhu was sweating profusely. He wiped his forehead subconsciously. It seemed that he had been worried that his daughter would be bullied by Yu Qianqiu. Now, it seemed that he didn't know who would be bullied. He really worried too much. Liar. Who told you not to tell? You deserve it. Zi snorted and immediately stared back with her eyes. Fine. You win. I'll give your master some face this time. If there's a next time, I'll shoot you. Yu Qianqiu warned in a serious tone. Shoot me dead? Zi pondered for a moment and immediately thought of the spear that Yu Qianqiu had lent to Dongfang Changgao to challenge. It was indeed very powerful. Pausing for a moment, he said, "Dragon-slaying spear? Don't think that I can't tell. What dragon-slaying spear? It's the same as those two broadswords. It's definitely something that you condensed from black fire to deceive people. Others may be afraid, but I'm not." Regardless of whether she was afraid or not, from her words, it could be seen that this woman had been cooped up in the southern sea purple bamboo forest for too long. She lacked knowledge, but she was not stupid. After knowing what happened to Yu Qianqiu's black flying sword, he immediately thought of where the saber and spear came from. Yu Qianqiu's face was filled with a sinister smile as he said, "The Dragon Slayer spear is nothing." Chapter 452. The two words Nongzhu were famous on Xianxian Island. When Patriarch Nan Ming roared, the 9 bens and 18 bens gathered below and rumbled, waking everyone up. The busy people at the bottom of the mountain quickly looked around, and their eyes all fell on Nongzhu. Nongzhu had many acquaintances here. After all, she used to hang around here often. Haha. Long time no see. You guys are busy. Nongzhu waved at the crowd with a smile. Just as she turned around, her face darkened, and she quickly ran away. As soon as she came out of the cave, she shouted, "Old Nan Ming, what are you shouting for? I won't take your scrap metal even if you give it to me." The two stood less than half a meter apart. Their eyes met, and sparks flew. Nongzhu clenched her teeth and stretched out her hand, shouting, "Give me back my things." "When did I take your things?" Ancestor Nan Ming spat. Nongzhu wiped the saliva off her face and said, "Old Bai asked me to bring them. You took them just now. Bai Changchun gave it to me. You're just a messenger. Since when did it become yours?" Nan Ming Grand Elder wiped the saliva off his face as well. He turned around and shouted at the flying dragon, "Let's go." The flying dragon shot up into the sky. Ancestor Nan Ming caught up with it and landed firmly on the dragon's back. The flying dragon quickly passed through the fog. Nongzhu leaped into the air and caught up to him. She stood side by side with Nan Ming Ancestor without hesitation. Both of them let out a cold snort at the same time. The flying dragon was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a black dot in the distant sky, crossing the vast demon ghost region. Nongzhu and Ancestor Nan Ming rode on the flying dragon and arrived at the sky above Shantian Island. Bai Changchun's voice rang in the sky, "Nan Ming, my brother, you have graced my Shantian Island with your presence." As he spoke, Bai Changchun's thin and elegant figure appeared outside the big house. An expert came to greet them personally. Two figures flashed down. Ancestor Nan Ming cupped his hands and bowed, "I dare not." His temper could be considered bad in the cultivation world, but when he saw Bai Changchun, he still performed the basic etiquette properly. He did not dare to be presumptuous in front of the world's #1 expert. Nongzhu looked at the direction of the plantation suspiciously and asked, "Old Bai, what happened to Ze?" When he was still in the air, he saw Ze baring her fangs and brandishing her claws, jumping and jumping like a madman. Bai Changchun ignored him and waved at Nan Ming Ancestor, "Please come in." Grandmaster Nan Ming expressed his gratitude. He raised his head and shouted at the flying dragon, "Find a place and stay obediently. Don't disturb the peace of Obedient Island." Then, he entered the house with Bai Changchun. The dragon in the sky let out a low roar, turned around, and obediently landed in a corner of the Obedient Island.